Here's our segment of checking in with the leftist news and just showing you how insane they really are. Again, this is a top story off MSNBC. A top story. If you go to their website, it's number 1 or number 2 at this point. Number 1 when I clicked it. This is the thing that you should be most concerned about at this time. You could say a million things when it comes to your head. A lot of things could pop in your head of what you should be actually focusing on at this moment in your life. But this is what MSNBC is focused on. Again, a real news website that people in my own family consider real news, which is sad to hear about. Trump is driving white nationalism. Biden needs to say so. The commencement address delivered at Howard University in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, President Joe Biden correctly deemed white supremacy the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland. He was quick to add that he wasn't saying this just because he was speaking at a historically black university. Right, I don't want to start a race war. I say it wherever I go. Which is like the most insane quote of the century. Everywhere I go, I talk about how dangerous white supremacy is. Jeez. Just like entering the movie theater. Hey, by the way, everyone, white supremacy is on the rise. Biden is right to highlight the threat from violent white supremacists who federal law enforcement agencies says promote accelerationist thinking, which advocates committing violence to precipitate a large-scale conflict often framed as a race war. Oh, really? Kind of like when you stoke the race war flames and create a narrative based on absolutely nothing? No, that's not a race war. That's different, okay? Only right-wingers do that. These extremists pose immediate danger to American lives, as we have seen far too many times. Really? Most recently, the horrific mass shooting in Texas Mall. But it's not enough for Biden to talk about the white supremacy violence. He hits the campaign trail in earnest. Biden needs to be more pointed in calling out the Republican Party props up even more and promotes white supremacists who threaten our democracy from within. If you say that 10 times, if you click your heels 10 times over and over again, you talk about white supremacy, it becomes real. Get used to it, folks. Biden, honey, you are the threat. Yeah, exactly. You can find it in Biden's garage, though. Yeah, secret recipe. I think white supremacy is real. It's a threat to our democracy. A threat to our democracy. White supremacy. A threat to our democracy. White supremacy. Threat to our democracy. At Howard, Biden quoted former President Donald Trump's claim that there were very fine people, which is not a true quote, at the notorious 2017 neo-Nazi rally in Charlottesville. Remember that neo-Nazi rally that showed just how many white supremacists are in that area, or maybe potentially around the United States? Oh, there's millions of people in this country, and there was about 50 to 60 of them marching with flames. Oh my God, it's a huge problem. God, they're everywhere. They're freaking everywhere. They're basically like a furry convention. You see them everywhere you go. But he didn't name his likely 2024 rival the biggest culprit in bringing white supremacists out of the shadows over the past 8 years. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. God, shut up. Who's the biggest culprit for bringing white supremacists out in the shadows? Oh, it's you guys, MSNBC, because you say that everything is white supremacy. You probably look at me and go, there's one. Swear to God, there's one right there. I saw him one time laugh at a Donald Trump joke. He's right there. God. Democracy, democracy, democracy. As president, he hired staff sympathetic white nationalists, embraced some of their causes, and espoused racist views. The men and women who attacked the Capitol on January 6th, including white nationalists like the Proud Boys, led by a black man, who Trump had asked before the election to stand back and stand by. Unsurprisingly, Trump had moderated his views, blah, 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 blah. In his speech, Biden also declined to identify the Republican Party, even though it's easy to find GOP lawmakers echoing Trump's enabling of white supremacy. Just this week, new reporting from Talking Points memo reveals that Republican Paul Gethar, the far-right Arizona Republican who employs Associate Fuentes as a digital... Who cares about Nick Fuentes? You know, like, God, it's just... That's it. That's who they have. Nick Fuentes. Have you ever seen him? He talks about Jews all the time. Again, this is what they're... who's trying to stoke a race war? Oh, is it you guys? If you say this over and over again and just make it a reality and make people on the left think that there's white supremacists everywhere so that they look for it everywhere, it's kind of like when you're going out to buy a car and you decide, I'm going to buy a Corvette. And then all of a sudden you see four-door Corvettes everywhere and they're disgusting and you don't want to buy them.